I was speaking of our troops. I was watching a Fox News piece the other day on soldiers being mistreated. So, Lewis, if I said to you soldiers are being mistreated, what would you think is going to be my next statement? How are they being mistreated would be your guess.
I would go with benefits.
They're not getting once they come
Healthcare
back.
benefits, right.
Once they come
the benefits back. They should be receiving.
The Fox News story was soldiers are being mistreated because some states may not be acting aggressively enough to make sure that the troops are getting their absentee ballots. Listen, I'm not saying I don't care if troops can vote. They should get their absentee ballots. They should be able to vote. But what if you're going to do a story, if you're going to do an honest story about troops being mistreated, why not talk about low pay? Why not talk about the condition in which they come back from these theaters of combat don't have the right health care, don't get good treatment? What about talking about sending them into pointless wars that we don't even know why we went in? No. Soldiers are being mistreated because they may not get their absentee ballots on time. And by the way, it appears they all will get their absentee ballots on time for the upcoming election. That's an irresponsible story, is it not? If you're going to devote time to that, talk about the real ways that we're mistreating the troops.
I suppose, yeah. I wouldn't put this high on the mistreating priority list.
No, there's many of other things to fix first in terms of how we're treating the troops.
But let's face it, Fox usually does not cover stories regarding the benefits of soldiers. No,
that's for sure. And also, just to finish up on Fox here, this guy, Judge Andrew Napolitano, who's on Fox. He does commentary on other people's shows, but now he has his own show on the Fox Business Network. He called Michelle Bachmann, the Congresswoman from Minnesota, a well-known expert on the Constitution. Michelle Bachmann, the same Michelle Bachmann who was saying, you know what, don't fill out the census. The same Michelle Bachmann who is buddy-buddy with Sarah Palin and seems to just think everything about old Sarah from Wasilla is just absolutely great. She is an expert on the Constitution and a well-known one at that, according to Andrew Napolitano. Well-known to who?
We didn't know.
I didn't know. That's right. I was not aware. Take a listen. This is him. This can only be this is a softball pat on the back, brown-nosing interview. That's the only way to describe this thing.
All right. You are not only an outstanding and outspoken member of Congress, you are also a well-known expert on the Constitution. And you and I have talked about this on air and off. We've even kidded about what I've called your classic cross-examination of Secretary of the Treasury Geithner, who just couldn't give you an answer about where the government gets its powers to do certain things under the Constitution. Here's my question to you. Do people in the Congress take the Constitution seriously? Or does the overwhelming majority of them from both parties think they can twist and turn and evade and avoid it just to get done whatever they want to get done?
How could he ask that question in good conscience, Lewis? You are a well-known expert on the Constitution. It's incredible.
The beginning is great. He's just like, you're the best. You're so great.
We know about how Fox News would ask this question, and we know about why Michelle Bachmann would love it. But Judge Andrew Napolitano, he is a former judge, and he is saying that she is a constitutional expert. What does it say about Andrew Napolitano to be saying that? And the more I think about this, maybe she is an expert on the Constitution. And hear me out, Lewis. You'd have to be an expert on the Constitution to even try butchering it the way she wants to fit her zealot religious ideals. I mean, maybe she is an expert to even be able to attempt that. No?
Possibly. I think it's the people, just for sake of comparison, who have the most, deep understanding of the English language and an extensive vocabulary that are the best at butchering it when they want to.
You may be right. You may be right about that. Most popular video on our YouTube channel in the last week, my rant last week on the so-called isolated right-wing terror. I went off on a little bit of a tangent arguing that why is it that every time we have a right-wing terror incident, it's called isolated, and religion was not a factor, and conservatism was not a factor. Yet we're very quick to assume any foreign terrorist is acting as part of some kind of cell or larger conspiracy. That's the most popular video on our YouTube channel from last week, youtube.com/midweekpolitics. Coming up next, we'll talk about the Glenn Beck Restoring Honor Rally and plenty more. Stay tuned.
This is Midweek Politics with Dave Pakman.
Midweek Politics is made possible in part by CSR Wire, the corporate social responsibility newswire at csrwire.com, by DIF Design, specializing in custom business websites at difdesign.com. To find out more about underwriting Midweek Politics, visit midweekpolitics.com.